Hey folks, I'm going to tell you how to start with TestZeus Hercules. So to start with, first of all, you have to make sure that you have Python 3.11 in your system. So just run Python 3.11 version. Seems like I have Python 3.11. The next step is to make sure that you have clear isolation of your dependencies of Python package before installing your new TestZeus Hercules package. This is just a precautionary step, but I would suggest to do that. So I will create a virtual environment to make sure that I have a clear isolation. Now, as you can see, my virtual environment is created. I will just go and try to source and activate this particular virtual environment. Now the virtual environment is activated. I'm inside the virtual environment. I can do whatever package installation I want to do here. The next step is to install TestZeus Hercules. So I will just go and copy this TestZeus Hercules and trigger the installation. As you can see, it's installing a lot of packages. It will install packages related to Autogen, as that's the orchestrator backend of the whole agentic work which we are doing here. And it will also install Playwright, because all the browsers are going to come with Playwright, and we use Playwright for doing all possible navigations on the browser. Let's go back and see in the page what else is mentioned. The next step which is mentioned in the play page is Playwright install with deps. This is required to install all the browsers if they are not there in your system. In this case, we are expecting that Chromium and Firefox, both of them are available in your system. Playwright install with deps will take care of it. So now I'm gonna say Playwright install with dep. Yep, it is installed now. Now we are good to go to start running the test case. Before that, we have to prepare the test case. So what all flags we have to pass before running the test case? So the final command which we are expecting is this, something like this. Now before to reach this, we have to set some information in the parameters. Now we have input file, output file, test data path, project base, LLM models, LLM model API key. I will tell it upfront that LLM model and LLM model API key are the most important part here. If you don't pass LLM model, the system will crash and it will not work properly. I would suggest that pass LLM model as GPT-4o because that's the most commonly tested model. We have also tested this with Anthropic Haiku and Grok Llama 3.2 with function calling and 8 billion parameters, and same with Mistral. All of them work well. But again, GPT-4o seems like the best option to start with and the easiest option. Then going to LLM model API key, as the name suggests, it's an API key of whatever provider you're using. In this case, I'm using OpenAI, so I have to provide this. In case, if you are planning to configure this further, I would suggest that you go to the advanced version of it, of starting with it, which is available inside the configuration detail. If you go to configuration details in this page, you can see that there is a good amount of documentation to explain you how to go further and make sure that you can configure TestZeus Hercules in the best format. It has a lot of variations which you can set up. Few of them are important here, which you can see something known as headless equal to true, which will basically trigger the browser in headless mode. By default, when you do this pip install TestZeus Hercules, you get this setting as true. So if I go ahead and right now run the test case, it will not instantiate a browser. It will instantiate a headless browser and it will run the test case within it. So because we are doing a demo and because we are doing authoring, we want to see, hence we have to make sure that this particular flag is set as equal to false. So I'm just doing a simple environment variable work because it's an environment variable. Rest, all the items which we are passing through flag can also be instantiated as environment variable. Let's go back to the flag section. These are the flags. So one of the flags says input file, that output file, then test data path, and project base. In this demo, I'm using project base. If you use project base, everything can be kept inside it and the agent knows where to pick it and where to write it. If you don't want to create a project base, you can directly go ahead and passing individual files or individual folder path, which is more tedious. So I will go with the project base part. Let me see if I have already a project base sitting in my case. Project base is just a simple folder which has some folder structure. In my case, this is the folder structure which I have. So this is a folder structure which will basically, it will look like something like this. In this case, input and test data is the most important one. Rest all of them will be created once the execution is completed. As you saw in my case, accidentally there were a lot of files in the previous screen. Now, for starting with, I should have input file. So I have an input folder. I will go inside the input folder and I see that there is test.feature. Let me see what is there inside test.feature. Oh, this is a Gherkin file. So there's a feature simply written here is to log into Orange HRM and then log into my profile and then go and upload an image inside as a profile. Now, all this information, whatever is happening, this all is it requires two kinds of test data. One is the image URL where the image is existing so that I can pick that image and then upload it to this particular portal. And the second one is the most important one is the environment details, which is the login URL as well as the username password of the portal. Both of them will be available in the test data. And TestZeus Hercules will take care of merging these two information while executing it. So let's go to test data and you can see that there is an image file and then there is a test data file. TestZeus Hercules will figure it out which is a byte file or a binary file like JPEG, and the other one which is a text file which includes some information for decision making and execution. Let's quickly see what's there in test data. So I have mentioned the URL, username, password, and the image URL which it has to use. Now I have kept the image here only, but if in case if the image is kept somewhere else in the remote, you can mention that information as well. Okay, so now we are set. Both the folders are set. We are good to go. Other folders are not important. They will be automatically overwritten when the test case will run. As we are giving this folder project base as the project base to the system, it will take care of cleaning this and then overwriting it with the right relevant information. So here we go. It has started executing. I'm expecting it to open a Chromium browser. Yes, it has opened. It's now trying to log in. All these things are happening on the fly. The system, the agent is trying to generate the right playwright code, which it should execute it on the UI. So now it has decided that it should click on these two particular boxes and click on login. Now this login had already I showed you that it came from test data. Now coming to this, it has gone to my profile. It's not my profile, but I'm assuming in the demo purposes. And then it has now successfully browsed and uploaded the image, and it has verified also the test case execution is completed. Now it clearly says that the test case is terminated and is passed equal to true, and a summary is also mentioned here, which is expected result equal to test page should get a notification on the successfully saved, and it actually happened, which we also saw it in the authoring phase. Now to verify and understand how the results are populated, the result will be populated inside this HTML file, which has been mentioned here, as well as the JUnit file. There are other informations which will also come up, such as screenshots and video proofs and the network calls, which you can configure and play around with it, and all will be available inside the project base folder which you have started with. So proofs will have screenshots and the video, and the log files will have other details, such as how was the agent thinking process. Now quickly see that how the output looks like. So I will go and click on this. It will open an output file. As you can see, it took 35 seconds to execute this. And the test case is in green. Thank you.